Behavioral traits that reveal your lover's real personality. Big 5 characteristic forecast marital sex, success, as well as fulfillment. The idea that individuals vary in their characteristic methods of handling the world is one of the most fundamental human instincts. The old Greeks thought that the balance of physical fluids identified an individual's basic character. Later theories link personality to date of birth, skull form, as well as body framework. However, these concepts have fallen short to locate empirical support. An even more solid and also scientifically sustained concept of character emerged in the 1980s. According to the Big 5 approach, human personality contains 5 basic characteristics, each of which feeds on a continuum in between revers. The mix of these 5 high qualities in an individual forecasts the individual's typical actions in various circumstances and gradually. The 5 major traits are neuroticism, anxiousness and also volatility versus emotional security and also self-confidence. Conscientiousness, persistence as well as duty versus sloppiness and negligence. Agreeableness, friendliness and also compassion versus hostility as well as insolence. Openness to experience, creative thinking as well as inquisitiveness versus intolerance as well as strength. Extroversion, assertiveness as well as necessity versus introversion as well as shyness. Neuroticism. Right here is a draft of those findings. Neuroticism also shows up to disrupt healthy sexuality. Neuroticism shows up to interfere with partnership satisfaction in numerous means. Necessarily, neurotic individuals have a tendency to be very reactive to stress and anxiety as well as susceptible to experiencing negative feelings. These tendencies are likely to radiate onto the companion as well as develop issues over time. A research study that adhered to 300 couples over 30 years. The neuroticism of one partner anticipated frustration in marital relationship and also divorce. Rubbing salt in the wound, research study has additionally revealed that high neuroticism predicts reduced strength post-divorce. By a broad, and uncommon, academic agreement, neuroticism is the personality trait most strongly predictive of an individual's enchanting destiny. High neuroticism is consistently bad news in this context. The influence of character is apparent in lots of worlds of life, such as occupation option, wellness standing, and also way of living. Not remarkably, the research study literature additionally points to a substantial anticipating association between the large 5 personality characteristics and romantic life. 72 newly married couples were asked concerning their character, relationships, and also sexual satisfaction. They located that neuroticism of one partner, or both, forecasted lower degrees of satisfaction in relationships and also sex. Neuroticism dampens sexual fulfillment because aberrant people are prone to adverse effect and expectations, which have actually been shown to relate to reduced sex-related stimulation and fulfillment. For those who wish for a little existential flavor in their explanatory source, neuroticism may hinder one's sex life in part because the creaturely aspects of sex make apparent our animal nature, which advises us of our vulnerability and death. Neurotics are distinctly unfit to handle this suggestion, and also are thus driven to decrease the value of or prevent sex. Conscientiousness and agreeableness. As if anticipated, high degrees of conscientiousness as well as agreeableness forecast relationship fulfillment, in part due to the fact that these traits symbolize low impulsivity and high social trust, respectively. A study of 20,000 couples in 3 countries, Australia, England, as well as Germany, finding that high agreeableness as well as conscientiousness, along with reduced neuroticism, in self or spouse were connected with marital satisfaction. Reduced agreeableness and low conscientiousness have been located to specifically forecast sex-related risk-taking. In a research study of greater than 16,000 participants from 52 countries, the scientist David Schmidt of Bradley University discovered that low levels of agreeableness as well as conscientiousness forecasted cheating. Assessed findings from 53 research studies on the connection in between 3 types of individual risk-taking: sex, casual sex with strangers, unprotected sex, without a prophylactic, and also having a multitude of companions, and also discovered that low agreeableness, which typically materializes as high hostility, forecasted all 3 habits. Better, low conscientiousness forecasted participation in unprotected sex. Openness to experience. In contrast to prominent belief, pairs do not come to be much more similar in individuality as they age together. Rather, individuals have a tendency to pick partners that are rather like themselves. Our fundamental personality attributes are under strong hereditary influence and also are not simple to alter. Character predicts behavior in numerous locations, consisting of partnerships, sex-related actions, and also fulfillment. When it pertains to character, our expertise of the human propensity to look for resemblance in a companion increases the concern. Does character resemblance in between partners anticipate better marriage? The answer: possibly not. Yet openness is not totally irrelevant. Researchers lately asked 278 pairs of couples to maintain an everyday log of their sexes for 2 weeks. Participants were also examined regarding their personalities and the top quality of their partnership. One of their findings was that the female's individuality anticipated the regularity of sexual intercourses in the marriage. Specifically, pairs in which the woman racked up high up on the qualities of agreeableness and also, to a minimal level, visibility had sex more often. The hubby's personality had no result on the regularity of sex, although even more open and unstable, husbands were much less sexually completely satisfied. Highly informed people tend to marry other extremely informed individuals. In a culture like ours, where education and learning as well as high-paying work are readily available for both sexes, social gaps in condition, revenue, and also success are bound to expand quick, as the affluent and extremely educated increasingly companion with each other. Identifying several of these character traits in on your own or your partner may make you fear for the lasting health as well as sex-related happiness of your connection. Yet it serves to bear in mind that a person might determine to transform, improve their habits, and better manage their hardwired personality tendencies via self-awareness, technique, and a desire to have their conduct express the values they deem worthy. In the words of William Faulkner, a person can aspire to be far better than himself. And also what far better incentive to alter as well as far better ourselves than love? Extroversion. Nevertheless, the mass of the evidence appears to reveal that similarity is not a solid predictor of connection result. No connection in between the degree of resemblance of the couple's individualities as well as satisfaction in marriage. In a recent research study of more than 1,600 pairs located no connection between personality resemblance and life contentment. In a study of long-married couples, discovered that high extroversion as well as reduced conscientiousness in males forecasted lower marital complete satisfaction for their spouses. Unlike popular belief, pairs do not end up being much more comparable in character as they mature together. Rather, people have a tendency to select partners who are fairly like themselves. In fact, research has actually revealed that individuals tend to pick partners that resemble them across several domains, a sensation called assortative breeding. Typically talking, when it comes to pair bonding, birds of a plume flock together. Since lots of researchers have actually currently shown that men tend to seek even more regular and varied sex than women, the scientists hypothesize that the lady is usually the gatekeeper for sex in the marriage, as well as identifies if as well as exactly how commonly it will occur. Extroversion has actually been found to highly predict numerous love and also sex-related outcomes. High extroversion shows up to be somewhat of a double-edged sword in this context. Extroverts often tend to be better, a lot more socially linked, and extra charismatic than introverts. They look for relationships and are knowledgeable at managing them. They additionally often tend to be much better adjusted sexually. On the other hand, high extroversion can threaten connections since it is related to adventurism. More than 13,000 individuals in a research in 46 nations located high extroversion to be positively correlated with passion in short-term breeding, unlimited sociosexuality, having actually participated in temporary friend poaching efforts, having succumbed to short-term poaching efforts of others, as well as lacking relationship exclusivity. Our standard personality type are under solid hereditary influence and also are difficult to alter. Individuality forecasts behavior in several areas, consisting of connections, sexual habits, and also fulfillment. High neuroticism is plainly problematic in this context. Provided, some proof exists that similarity forecasts partnership fulfillment. Complied with 117 newly dating couples as well as located that resemblance in personality traits forecasted greater partnership fulfillment. It is possible that the meaning of personality resemblance changes across the life of the relationship. While similar individuality predicts greater connection fulfillment amongst young married couples, amongst older pairs, resemblance in the huge 5 major qualities anticipated reduced satisfaction. In agreeableness, conscientiousness and comparison are unambiguously favorable qualities. Visibility appears to play a bit part, as well as extroversion has a mixed bag quality, with both positive and also adverse effects for relationships. In contrast to popular belief, character similarity in between spouses is not essential for lasting relationship success. According to the Big Five technique, human individuality consists of 5 basic characteristics, each of which exists on a continuum in between revers. Not remarkably, the research literature likewise points to a significant anticipating organization between the Big Five personality qualities and charming life. Visibility shows up to play a rather bit part in the charming context. Outcomes of 19 research studies including more than 3,800 individuals, 4 qualities: reduced neuroticism, high conscientiousness, high agreeableness, and high extroversion forecasted higher degrees of relationship complete satisfaction with intimate companions. Generally, the data recommend that those who are seeking a partner for enduring love as well as sex require not focus on searching for someone similar to them in personality. Rather, they take advantage of searching for a companion that's agreeable, conscientious, as well as emotionally secure. An extroverted companion may show a set, "It'll be fun," however it may not end well. An extremely unstable companion is an invite to the blues. The 5 major traits are neuroticism, anxiousness, and also volatility versus emotional security and also self-confidence. Conscientiousness, persistence as well as duty versus sloppiness and negligence. Agreeableness, friendliness and also compassion versus hostility as well as insolence. Openness to experience, creative thinking as well as inquisitiveness versus intolerance as well as strength. Extroversion, assertiveness as well as necessity versus introversion as well as shyness.